Hello and welcome. This is Wilker, and today I'm going to be taking a look at Xeno's Reliquary. Uh, Xeno is a modder that was heavily involved with Equivalent Exchange 2, a mod that a lot of people that have been playing for a while are familiar with. And when he took a break and EE3 development kind of happened on the open source road it's on right now, Xeno came back, I don't know, a couple months ago and started modding again. And I believe this is his first big work. I don't know if he's put anything else small out since then. But Xeno's Reliquary, as you can see, has a ton of recipes, a ton of new items, a couple new blocks. And I don't know, I'm going to kind of pick and mix the recipes I go through. I'm going to try to demonstrate most of the tools because they're all really neat. But it's going to be complete overload if we go through every single one of these recipes. But I'll at least touch on what each of the items is and does. I may flash the recipe up on the screen, so we'll just kind of have to see how it goes. So let's start off with some of the weapons, and there's a couple more besides these, but these are the primary, I think, weapons of the game. Starting off with the Hunter's Handgun. So the Hunter's Handgun is a gun, and it is made from three handgun parts. You see here the grip, the barrel, and the hammer. And then it's also made from some iron and a slime ball. And each one of these assembly pieces has its own recipe. So here's the barrel. It's iron and two ender pearls and a magma cream. The hammer is some iron, a button, magma cream, and a blaze rod. And the grip assembly is a empty magazine, 7 iron, and a magma cream. And the magazine is the next recipe we're going to take a look at. But you put all these items together and you end up with the Hunter's Handgun. You'll notice that Xeno's put a ton of little tooltips in the game that are pretty entertaining, and also tell you how to use most of these items. You don't have to just remember off the top of your head. So as you can see here, it says right-click fires and hold to reload. So we're going to come over here and we're going to look at the empty magazine recipe real quick. It's a glass, 5 iron, and 2 stone, and that gives you 5 magazines. So once you have an empty magazine, what you have to do is decide what kind of bullets you want to make. And there's, let's see, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10. 10 different kinds of bullets. Is that right? 9 different kinds of bullets. Okay. So bullets range from anywhere from the basic neutral shot bullet, which takes gold nuggets, some stone, some gunpowder. By the way, a ton of gunpowder recipes in this mod, so I hope you got a good supply of gunpowder. The exorcism shot, which actually uses neutral shots and puts them around another mod item called glowing water. A blaze shot, which uses blaze powder and blaze rods. The concussive shot, which gives a small non-damaging explosion, non-terrain destroying explosion, to the buster shot, which uses those concussive shots and some TNT to give you an actual TNT sized explosion. The seeker shot, which will actually chase mobs down, and then kind of the top tier bullet is the ender shot. And Xeno puts a pretty entertaining warning on his mod description in the forums that do not fire these bullets near anything you want to stay alive. It will kill your pets, it will kill your summoned mobs, it will kill your TC3 golems, it will kill stuff. And there's two kind of unique bullets here. The sand shot does two things. First of all, it does super extra damage to creepers. It wrecks creepers. It also will blind targets. And it will also, if fired into the air, will stop weather. So a sand shot will stop weather. The storm shot does creates weather and also does increased damage depending on how much weather is currently going on. So if you have rain or a thunderstorm, it'll do varying kinds of damage. So once you've picked your bullet and you've made some, you need to grab an empty magazine and load it. You load it with 8 shots. And you'll see here, this is a recipe for a neutral magazine. And I've got down in my inventory, I've got a couple things made. I've got a neutral magazine, I've got a sand magazine put together, and I've got a concussive magazine put together. The last kind of initial mod weapon I want to show you is the Holy Hand Grenade. Yes, Worms fans, it's back. So the Holy Hand Grenade's made with 4 of these glowing waters, and I'll show you this recipe real quick. It's made with a condensed splash serum, which is another mod item, and 3 glowstone dust. And we'll get into kind of how the serums and potions work here in a bit. But anyway, with that recipe, you get a Holy Hand Grenade. So let's go take a look and see how this stuff works. If you see here, I made a nice little house so I could summon a zombie. Oh, I thought my little roof was protecting. That's sad. Well, I guess it's not. So let's get a couple more of these spawns. No, that's okay. I was going to show you how the exorcism bullet did more damage to the. Whoa. Let me fix this. I'll be right back. Okay, so here we are back on creative mode now, and we're going to plop a couple of creepers down. And my goal here was to show you with the zombie how the exorcism bullets did more damage, but it's not a big deal. Let's get a little creeper party going on down here. Super. Alright, so let's check out some of these bullets. So, to load the gun, you just select it and you right click and hold. And you'll notice I'm left with an empty magazine and a full rifle. A full handgun. So now we're gonna come over here and we're gonna. Yeah, that's pretty good damage. Now I'll show you too. You notice for every shot I fire, I get an empty casing. An empty casing can be converted back to a gold nugget at a 1-for-1 conversion rate. So let's see. We want to look at some different bullets. So let's just see these. Yeah. So it automatically reloaded, and you'll notice now I've got it loaded with the. I think it was a sand round. So let's see what that does. Wow, 36 damage to creepers. So tons of creeper damage. Notice it doesn't really do terrain damage, which is nice. The sound effects are great also. And now we've got it loaded with the concussive shots. Let's see what those do. Some very cool stuff, right? Oh, look at those guys. Those guys are not happy. So let's see what our last weapon, the Holy Hand Grenade, will do. Think we'll get them all? I do. So that does a lot of damage if you're in range of stuff. And it's a lot of fun. So you will notice that none of these recipes are very cheap. A lot of these recipes require gold, or the Storm Shot requires lapis, an Ender Eye on the Ender Shot. And I'm not going to spoil that one for you, but it's a lot of fun to fire off. But you're going to notice that as we look through the rest of the recipes and items for this mod, that these things are not cheap at all. Most of these items are very expensive. So let's get rid of some of this junk in my inventory. Alright, great. So let's just go through some of these items. We'll come back to the ultralight here in just a minute. So the Cross of Mercy is a weapon, and you'll notice it's about twice the cost of a golden sword with the gold, and the glowing water is again made with the splash serum and glowstone, so not too expensive on that side. But the Cross of Mercy, in addition to being a gold enchantable weapon, okay, it also does extra damage, to undead, like this. See the little explosions that come off of them? So, you know what, let's see a little extra damage explosion that comes off. That's the bonus you get for hitting undead mods with the Cross of Mercy. Now, it is considered made of gold, and that's important for one of the other items we're going to look at here in just a minute. So we'll come back to that in a second. The next item we're going to look at is the Tome of Alcahest. Remember I mentioned expensive? Well, take a look at this. This guy takes a wither skeleton skull, a gas tear, a lava bucket, nether wart, gold ingot, blaze rod, book, magma cream, and a glowstone block. All to give you this Tome of Alcahest. And the Tome of Alcahest performs basic alchemy for you. Let's take a look at what we can do with it. I'm just going to use NEI for this instead of demonstrating all of the different uses because that would take a while. So you'll notice that there's a bunch of different things you can do. You can convert 8 blocks of diamonds to a dragon egg. If you have a nether star, you can use it along with some of the glowing water and wither skeleton skulls and a diamond to get 2. And then there's a lot of less expensive recipes. Most of these are going to involve glowstone or lapis blocks. There is an upgrade for this item, which we're going to get into in a little bit. And it's this guy right here, the Alcahest. But you'll see here, the basic premise of this item is to take one of an item or a few of an item and turn it into more. So here's 1 dirt into 17 dirt. And you can do the same thing for cobble and sand and gravel. Wood, you can do a 1 to 3. And then as you get into these, you'll see that there's iron recipes for doubling your iron, a block of lapis to double your gold, making extra flint or gunpowder, things like that. So, here's an example of maybe you have a ton of redstone and not a lot of gunpowder, so maybe you can use this guy to make some gunpowder. So just kind of a neat resource management tool. Allows you to switch some of your resources over to others. I have no idea what that error is all about, but I've been getting it a lot lately, so I don't know. Magic Bane is made with Eyes of Ender and a gold ingot and an iron ingot. And again, this guy is made of gold. So I believe this Magic Bane is an homage to an item from NetHack, but I don't want to get too much into that because I don't know how many people played NetHack. But anyway, the Magic Bane's interesting. It has the ability to give a random of 3 or 4 status effects to whatever you hit with it. So let's get a cow summoned up here. Come here, cow. You'll notice there it gave it weakness, and then poison there at the end. I'm sorry, confusion there at the end. So essentially, what the Magic Bane will do is randomly give confusion, blindness, slowness, or weakness to an enemy. But you also notice that it's pretty weak. It took a lot of damage just from killing that cow. And it is also made of gold and is enchantable as gold. One other unique property of the Magic Bane is that it gains damage based off its enchantment. So if you get, let's say, a Smite 5 enchantment on it, it would gain 5 additional base damage on top of whatever the enchantment gave. So a really neat item, but very weak and made of gold. And these gold weapons are great for Mo Creatures fans like me that are terrified of werewolves. So, yeah. Anyway, the next item we're going to look at is the Coin of Fortune. And the Coin of Fortune is a really neat item. You've probably seen functionality similar to it in the past. And what happens is when I right-click it on, it is going to start sucking up any items or experience within a certain range. And I think it's about 8 blocks of a radius. So I get these little purple glowy effects, but it's cool. I like that a lot because I use magnet mode sometimes, so I don't have to dig up pipes and stuff when items fall behind it, and it makes me feel like a bit of a cheater. The next item is the Emperor's Chalice. The Emperor's Chalice is made with, here, let's look at this real quick. So the Coin of Fortune is made with 4 Eye of Ender, 4 gold, and a glowing water. The Emperor's Chalice is 2 emeralds, 3 gas tiers, and 4 gold ingots. And what the chalice does is two things. Let's run over here to my infinite water source real quick. So once you make the chalice and you fill it with water, from that point on, it is also an infinite water source. Notice I can fill as many of these little holes as I want to, and the chalice still has water in it. Now the other thing it can do, notice I'm down half a bar of hunger. Well, you can drink, oops, that's not what we wanted. Hang on here. Well done. You can drink it, and what it will do is convert life to hunger. So you can lose some health and gain some hunger back simply by drinking it. So what you can do, if you have an infinite water source here, you can grab it up, drop it down, and drink it. So you're back at full hunger. So kind of neat. Takes half a health to restore half a hunger, I think. So I showed you a little bit of this recipe earlier, the Alkahest. Now it takes 2 nether stars and a dragon egg and that kind of expensive tome of Alkahest to create. And what does this guy do? Well, what it does is it takes base resources like dirt and lets you convert them into something else. But notice we don't know what we're going to get out of this. So I grab the Alkahest and yay, I get a redstone. Now you have to be careful with this, because if you don't give it enough materials to work with, when you pull it out, you get nothing. So you can convert dirt. Let's say I had a stack of diamonds laying around and I hated them. I could throw a stack of diamonds in there and get 2 stacks of lapis blocks, I guess, if you really wanted some lapis blocks. But it'll generally make redstone, lapis, or lapis blocks for you, depending on what you throw into it. But there is no cheat sheet like there is for the Tome of Alkahest. So you got to kind of experiment with it without hopefully burning too many of your resources. Okay, the Sojourner's Staff. So this is a really neat item. I really like it. It's something I've been hoping somebody would add to the game for a long time. You can see here it's made with some magma cream and some gold and a blaze rod. And what this guy does is suck up torches in your inventory. And you'll notice it's pulling from the stack of torches and it's filling up its damage bar. And I don't know, I think it takes 6 or 8 stacks total to fill it. Let's see here, there's 4, 5, 6. And what this guy does is allow you to then use those torches and set them down like this. Well, Wilker, you might be saying, a giant stack of torches is nice, but why have you been wanting it for a really long time? And the answer is because it can also do this. Notice I'm putting down torches at extreme ranges. I think it's great. Now, you will use more of its durability if you use long ranges, so the further away your torch placement is from where you're standing, the more of its durability it will use. So you aren't going to get a 1-for-1 conversion rate on this thing if you use it to place down torches across huge distances. But I think it's just an amazing item. I would use it all the time. As a matter of fact, this is the next mod that I'm going to be adding to my SMP server for my Let's Play. Feel free to watch that. Shameless plug. All right, so I've pointed out a couple times that these items, these weapons here, are made of gold. And I've also pointed out about how weak they are. And the reason that I've pointed those out is so I can very clearly demonstrate the Touchstone of Midas, the next item we're going to look at. It's made with 3 blocks of gold, 3 gold ingots, and 2 blaze rods and a gas tier. What does it do? Well, much like the Sojourner's Rod we just looked at, it eats items out of your inventory, but it eats glowstone dust. And I want you to watch really carefully what happens. When I start feeding it glowstone dust, notice the damage on my gold weapons begins to decrease. So what it will do is it will slowly repair your gold items by eating glowstone dust and feeding its own damage bar into the gold items like the Cross of Mercy here. Now, I do know that Xeno's thread pointed something out about not liking the speed of this, and I think he wants it to be a little bit faster, so maybe 2 or 3 times faster than this. That way you don't ever run out of durability while you're actually using it, as long as you have your Touchstone of Midas in your inventory. So just a really cool item. Again, I love it because I hate werewolves. Man, I hate werewolves. You know, I haven't even tested these to see if these work against werewolves, but I hope they do. Because I don't know if I've mentioned this, but I hate werewolves. Anyway, the next item we're going to look at is the Salamander's Eye. And the, did I not? Where's my Salamander's Eye? Okay. So the Salamander's Eye is really cool. It's made from 4 blaze rods, an Eye of Ender, 2 gas tears, and 2 magma creams. And you know what? Let's go to the Nether. Let's check this thing out. Okay, so here we are in the Nether, and let's see what this Salamander Eye does. Well, what happens is, as long as I'm holding it, any fires that I get near to, let's turn creative mode off. Any fires that I get near to will automatically be extinguished. And even cooler than that, see those gas fireballs? It automatically shoots them back at him without me having to do anything. So it's essentially a Nether protection item that extinguishes fires, protects you from gas fireballs. Just a really neat concept. Something I'm not sure a lot of other people would have thought of, but a very, very cool item that you know, fits in really well with the concept of the mod. All right, let's get back to work. Alright, so now that we've had our fun in the Nether, let's see what the rest of these items do. Where were we? We were over here. Okay, so the next item is the Witherless Rose, and this is one of those items I'm just not going to demonstrate. It does take 4 Nether stars to build, but essentially as long as you're holding it, you can't be affected by the Wither effect. So nice protection item for wither farming or wither skeleton farming, any of that stuff. Next is the Cloak of Distortion. Now the Cloak of Distortion makes you invis and allows you to teleport. So let's check out how that works. It does consume ender pearls, and it uses 8 Eye of Ender and a blue wool to make it. So once you have it on, you can right click, and you notice here that I'm invisible. It shows you how much time is remaining, and every time the duration runs out, it will consume an ender pearl. And then if you sneak and you click, it'll consume an entire ender pearl, but let you teleport. Ooh, look, it's a floating suit of armor. All right, so a cool item. Especially, I guess, in PvP servers, which actually, when we get into potions, you'll see some of the real things that you can do in PvP servers to really mess with other people. The next 2 items I'm going to show you are related, and it is the Void Tear and the Void Satchel. So the Void Tear is made with 2 Eye of Ender and 2 gas tears. And the way it works is when you have it in your inventory, and you right-click it, it will eat whatever you have the most of in your inventory. So I had 2 stacks of stone here, and now you'll notice it has 128 stone. So then, once you have it, you can right click on the ground, and it will give you your items back. So then if I right click it again, I've got my my stone back in my inventory. And I believe you can click it on a chest too to, yeah, and it puts it in the chest for you. So once you've got that guy made, and once you have items stored in it, the next thing you can do, oh, I didn't make this. Okay, so the next thing you can do is make a Void Satchel. So the Void Satchel recipe is as such. It is 7 leather. You have to have a blue Void Tear, not an empty one, and a string. So once you do that, oh, that's right, that's why I didn't do this. Okay. So once you put this recipe together with your blue void tier, what you're going to get is a void satchel. And the void satchel comes out keyed to whatever item you made it with. So since I made that with a stone, even if I drop those out, it will it'll still stay keyed to stone. You notice that it shows currently holds 0 stone. You can use it on a chest by shift right clicking, and that will pick up all the stone that was in it. And you'll notice it starts with a capacity of 64. You can upgrade this thing. I think its maximum capacity is unlimited, but you have to upgrade it one at a time by feeding it additional empty eyes. So I think it takes 3 empty eyes. Let's see here. Or tears, I said eyes. I think it takes 3 empty tears to upgrade it. I think if you do it like this. Now it has a capacity of 256. And as long as you continue to upgrade it, you'll continue gaining capacity. So now it's up to 448. So just a neat way to manage items. Now I've got, oops, I think I just spit them all out. Let's see here. I know you can, was it control click? I thought it was shift click. Oh, okay. Shift control click allows you to suck all the items of its matched type out of the chest, and then shift clicking will put them back in there. So a cool inventory management tool. Next we have the Destruction Catalyst, and the Destruction Catalyst is something people might be familiar with from EE2, and it works a little bit differently. It does take a touchstone of Midas along with 7 blaze rods and a flint, and it consumes gunpowder. So I think I mentioned earlier there's a lot of gunpowder recipes in this game, in this mod. But if you come over to a safe place and you click, it will clear out a 3x3x3 area. It will consume 3 gunpowder. Kaboom! All right. But unlike the old Destruction Catalyst, you do not gain any drops from this Destruction Catalyst. So it's just for clearing stuff out. The next thing we're going to look at is the Wraith's Eye and the Wraith Node. And these go together, and the way they work is as follows. Where's my Wraith Eye? So, you'll notice my tooltip shows that it's currently bound in nowhere. So what I can do is I can place a Wraith Node down and then click it with a Wraith Eye. Oh, I do have 2 Wraith Eyes, that's weird. So now it shows you where it's currently bound to. So then, no matter where I am, I can click it, and bam, I'm right back to where I started. Now, I do not know if this works interdimensionally. I guess we can try it, right? Let's see. Yeah, it does not work across dimensions, so that's not a big deal. Let's go back over to my test world. But as long as you're in the same dimension that you bound it in, you can right-click it, and it'll take you right back to where you go. Okay. The last tool recipe we're going to look at is the Ice Magus Rod. And it's maybe not quite as useful as some of the other ones, but still a lot of fun. And what it does is it consumes snowballs in your inventory. And through the consumption of snowballs, it then allows you to fire out snowballs that do damage. And these do, like, I think 2 damage, something like that, to creatures and stuff that they hit. So you can practice long range sheep farming if you want. There you go. See, it does damage to them. So I guess you could have like a PvP style war or something with those if you wanted to. The next thing we're going to look at is a really neat block called the where is it? Where's my lily pad? Called the lily pad of fertility, and I don't think we need 64 of them. What this guy does is accelerate the growth of items nearby. So watch what happens when I place my lily pad of fertility down on the water. So it sets on a water block, and you'll notice it's doing its thing. And you'll also notice that my wheat is growing right before our eyes. And these stack. So if I wanted to, I could grab my little chalice here, right? And then we can put down a couple of these things. And I believe they work off like a random chance. So, oops. They just give a chance per tick or something for things to grow. But essentially, using these things will allow you to greatly accelerate your farming. And I believe they're in for a little bit of a nerf. Just from a speed standpoint, I don't think they're going to be able to help things grow quite as fast as they do right now. I'm out of them, but that's okay. So you get the idea. The lily pads will work in conjunction with your farms to grow stuff faster. And I think they work with anything that grows. So you could even use these with like PFF's universal plant if you wanted to. Well, I'm going to split this up into two parts. That covers all of the tools, weapons, blocks, and items that this mod, Xenos Reliquary, creates. In part 2, I'm going to go over the potion system and how the potion system works. And it should be a lot shorter, but this is running a little bit long, so I'm going to stop it for here. Thank you so much for watching, and hopefully see you next time.